So help me God.
So help me God.
After a break of 4 years, Donald Trump returned to the White House last January. But this term brought a change in style and tone, and the U.S. president began acting with startling speed and aggression. Just hours after being sworn in, Trump signed multiple executive orders in front of enthusiastic supporters. He pulled the U.S. out of international organizations, reversed many Biden-era policies, and vowed to deliver on his agenda.
All illegal entry will immediately be halted, and we will begin the process of returning millions and millions of criminal aliens back to the places from which they came.
Almost immediately, Trump brought in the world's richest man, Elon Musk, to cut billions of dollars from the federal government. The Trump administration gutted overseas aid programs, the Department of Education, and many more agencies. Thousands of federal workers were fired before Musk and Trump ultimately had a falling out, and the cuts slowed.
Happy 4th of July.
Despite a slim majority in the U.S. Congress, Trump managed to push through what he called his big, beautiful bill, a huge piece of legislation that extended tax cuts from his first term and sought to gut programs favored by his Democratic opponents. Cuts to Medicaid included in the bill, along with the failure to extend Affordable Care Act subsidies for health care, led to a government shutdown in the fall that lasted for 6 weeks, the longest in U.S. history.
The government remains shut down right now because of the refusal and unwillingness by Donald Trump and Republicans to actually provide health care to working class Americans.
Using his executive powers, Trump doubled down on curbing immigration. Entries at the U.S. southern border with Mexico ground to a halt, a development that proved popular with many in the U.S., but more controversial was his deployment across the country of officers from Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE. Often they were backed up by U.S. National Guard troops on America's streets from Washington to Chicago and Los Angeles. The agents' controversial and aggressive tactics have faced growing protest, especially after the death this month of a U.S. citizen, Renee Good, in Minneapolis, shot in her car during an encounter with ICE. Trump defended the officer and vowed to continue his aggressive deportation policy. Trump also targeted his political opponents, perceived or real. His administration launched investigations into prosecutors who pushed cases against him in New York, Georgia, and Washington, D.C., as well as the former head of the FBI and even the chairman of the U.S. Federal Reserve. But as the first year of his second term came to a close, his poll ratings were slipping. One of his biggest political problems has been his campaign pledge to release the so-called Epstein files, documents from the investigation into the late sex offender Jeffrey Epstein. He had been a close confidant and friend of many rich and powerful people, including Trump himself. Longtime loyalists, such as Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene, broke with Trump over Epstein, resulting in Congress forcing the release of the documents and Greene resigning her seat amid increasing attacks from Trump.
The real test will be, will the Department of Justice release the files, or will it all remain tied up in an investigation?
Trump's first year back in office has been intense politically. He's tried to push through as much of his domestic political agenda as possible and as quickly as possible. But that pace may not continue. The U.S. Constitution does not allow a president to run for a third term. And with midterm elections due this November, Trump's Republican hold on the U.S. Congress could break. Still, he has 3 years left in office. Diane Hodges, CGTN, Washington.